Aloha, y'all. It is Monday the 14th of March. Today is a Muladhara chakra day, root chakra day. It is the base of your spine. Keywords include vitality, courage, and self-confidence. Positive aspects are security, courage, strength of will, pioneering spirit. Negative aspects are insecurity, self-pity, aggression, and fear. The mantra is LAM, L-A-M. So when you're doing this chant, LAM, something like that, do it in the key of C. Spiritual activities include noticing the beauty and perfection of the natural world. I'm sure you can hear the birds chirping here in Costa Rica. Essential oils are cinnamon, garlic, and sandalwood. The element is earth. Crystals are ruby, bloodstone, and hematite, and the soul lesson is service. So you want to get rooted in your root chakra today, lam it out, and go from there. Let's go ahead and pull some cards. Hopefully you all are doing well. I am doing fantastico. So, what up, Tremus? Let's see what wants to pop today. We've got the Five of Pentacles. So fives are like, halfway. We're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. A little baritone. I'm still waking up. Five of Pentacles, though, you're halfway through what? The material world. And there's ups and downs and all rounds. If you're a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, this is your suit, the Pentacle. And this is not a bad card. It's a little, it's good pause for reflection in a material world that's kind of doing weird things. Five of Pentacles, examine your own relationship with poverty, right? How are you feeling secure? Where are you finding your security? In money, in status, in love, in accomplishment? These things come and go. Beauty fades, right? So where are you finding, your security? And do you feel lack, I guess you could say. So examine your own relationship with poverty. Look for disowned treasures within you. Fear of not being enough for anyone, right? So this is kind of like a, fuck, I'm a loser. I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? Kind of vibes, right? We'll get into it here. Five of Pentacles, I am desperate and destitute. We can go through life unaware of the astounding beauty, right? And it did say in the root chakra, the kind of lesson, I guess you could say, is, or the spiritual activity, is to notice the beauty and perfection of the natural world, the material world, the pentacle, right? So when we're not doing this, this might come up. We can go through life unaware of the astounding beauty and miraculous things which surround us, right there for us to reach out and touch. Reach out and grab me, touch me, whatever the word is. Probably touch. We rush past a beautiful flowering tree, completely oblivious to its rich and fecund display. We bicker with those we love, unaware of this moment of aliveness, of being conscious in this life is so fleeting and precious. So many fail to see the wonder which sits within their grasp. Because of this, they experience a deep poverty of awareness, lack of time, lack of support, lack of money and resources, when in truth, there is no lack, just a lack of awareness. I'm reminded of the wisdom story of the beggar sitting on a box by the side of the road, sitting on his what? Root chakra, on his butt, the base of his spine. The wisdom story of the beggar sitting on a box by the side of the road, begging for 30 years until a passing stranger suggests he opens it. When he does, he discovers it is filled with gold. And it's funny that they say 30 years old, because 28 to 32-ish is about your Saturn return, when you're kind of having a midlife crisis. And that's true of everybody. Holler for readings if you want to know what's going on in your astral chart, astrology chart. In the artwork of the Five of Pentacles, two characters are crouched begging for food. They are positioned in front of a Garden of Eden. Sounds like the Garden of Eden here, right? Outcast from paradise, and yet only separated by a slender barbed wire fence, it is well within their reach. The two realities exist side by side, but from the side of lack, they are blinded to possibility. The figures are slowly disappearing into the graffiti-covered boards. Soon they will recede from view, becoming just another part of the mean streets. The Five of Pentacles asks us to look at our own disowned treasures while also referring to the very real hypocrisy and unfairness that the world offers up. Misery and suffering sit alongside vast wealth and opulence. Millions upon millions of people who must survive and support their families on so little. And people here like $20 a day is a normal wage, I guess, for like a worker. You know, this is when you hear, at least where I'm in Costa Rica, I'm sure some of the resort towns or whatever are more bougie, but and opulence exists anywhere, but the communities that I'm kind of ensconced, surrounded by, are definitely living on like a couple dollars a day, maybe for a family. So that they must survive and support their families on so little, while others have so much. Inequality, isolation, segregation, and ignorance play out around us every single day, and we must decide how we wish to be in the face of this. One of people's greatest fears is to be cast out of their homes, right? Root chakra, coming up again. What's your biggest fear? Security issues, possibly? Oh my gosh, I want to be in my... And this is normal, don't even feel bad about it, but we have to learn to wean off of our tribe and our comfort zones and be good anywhere we're planted. The card invites you to consider your own relationship with issues of poverty, inequality, and unfairness. It also suggests that you acknowledge and actively seek out the phenomena of abundance. Oh, I totally skipped a part. One of people's greatest fears is to be cast out of their homes, their families, their tribe, and live on the street impoverished. The fear can compel people to generate riches at any cost, while others remain caught in a trap of poverty, unable to escape. This kid comes over every day, and for 500 colones, which is like 50 cents, basically, maybe even less, he's, scooping up dog poop and doing some little house chores for the owners here. And yesterday I told him on the translator, because I don't, mi hablo es merde. My Spanish is horrible shit. I was kind of like, yo, if you save a little of that over time, he's 10 years old. It's like, if you save that, a little of it at least, I was like, I know you like candies and sweets and soda. That's fine. But save that as much as you can. Even if it's like 100 colones a day or 400 of the 100 colones, you'll be able to get a moped or a car eventually and kind of rise up out of the poverty. He's a good kid. So anyway, it's inviting us to look at fears, right? That we can remain trapped in poverty, unable to escape. That's why I was mentioning. It's like there's always a possibility, even if you're having to kind of scrimp and save a little. It can keep you trapped in a fruitless relationship or move you to create extraordinary things and help many others along the way, right? Mother Teresa, even though I'm not Catholic or trying to promote her necessarily, is like a good example. She lived in poverty with these outcast, very much people on the outside looking in India, and tried to help their lives out, right? The card invites you to consider your own relationship with poverty, inequality, and unfairness. It also suggests that you acknowledge and actively seek out the phenomenal abundance all around you. There's literally food growing on the trees all around here. Bananas, limes, mangoes, pineapples. They're in the ground, but you get my point. Feeling it as part of your own being. Psychedelic mushrooms, they grow everywhere. Traveling to various parts of the world, i.e. Costa Rica, in tremendous poverty and experiencing a lack of bitterness and open generosity. These people are so nice, and they don't, in a sense, they haven't been jaded by the material, so they don't know what they're missing out on, whereas most people, once they've tasted luxury or once they've tasted stability financially or, aren't worried about it, they cling to it like Smaug the dragon and hoard and sit on it, and they nickel and dime everything and try to keep that. While conversely living in one, so he's like saying, this guy, David DeAngelis, he's been on the podcast, shout out, saying people in poor countries are really open and generous because, they understand how to live close to the moment, in a sense, and with little expectation. While conversely living in one of the wealthiest parts of London and seeing such a lack of generosity, life lived behind closed gates, made me deeply question my own fears around poverty and isolation. To live with an open heart and generous spirit, no matter what the circumstance, is a powerful practice, one which carries the possibility to transform the world we experience. So the Five of Pentacles is about examining your relationship with poverty, just lack. It doesn't have to be financial. When we say poverty, we usually think, like, oh my gosh, feed the kids, heal the world, right? But it can be like, you might have a very impoverished view of your own beauty, or you might have a very impoverished view of your social skills. And maybe you have, horrible social skills or whatever, but you don't want to think of it that way. Examine your own relationship with poverty. Look for disowned treasures within you. Diamond in the rough, very Aladdin. Fear of not being enough for anyone, which is really the main, the fears. The root chakra is all about our security and our desire to feel rooted, grounded, safe, all that. It's our most primal awareness, our root chakra. So today, on this moon day, I forgot to talk about the astrology. I knew I forgot something. Let me briefly go into it. The sun is at Pisces at 23 degrees, 52 minutes. The moon is at Leo, 8 degrees. Mercury is at 7 degrees Pisces. Venus is at 7 degrees Aquarius. Mars is at 6 degrees Aquarius, so they're conjunct. Jupiter's at 17 degrees Pisces. Saturn is at 20 degrees Aquarius. Uranus is at 12 degrees Taurus. Neptune's at 22 degrees, 54 minutes Pisces, so conjunct the sun still, though losing that tighter of conjunction. Pluto is at 28 degrees Capricorn, and the North Node is at 24 degrees Taurus. With the moon in Leo, we could be very self-conscious, like, oh my gosh, I'm not pretty, oh my gosh, I'm not rich, oh my gosh, I'm not famous. And with the sun in Pisces conjunct Neptune, we might be feeling kind of the shadows of our dream, right? The things that make us stable come and go, right? That's why I'm not even against it or for it right now necessarily, but like religion is one of these things that help people find a trans-temporal meaning beyond the circumstances, right? When the wind and the waves rise, I will be with you. When the fires come out, I will be with you, kind of thing. So we need to find security, right? Root chakra, in the world, while understanding that it's usually a perception. See, the perception is the fence, right? Where they're like, oh my God, we're broke and we're having to root through the trash. It's like, actually, you know what? If you just went over to this Sufi temple or whatever, not Sufi, I'm forgetting who the people are. It's not Hindu, Sikh. The Sikh temple, if we just go over to the Sikh temple, they'll give us free vegan food, vegetarian food. That's really roughing it, but it's like, you're never actually in lack. We're just trained our brains. Our minds are kind of hunter-gatherer machines, always trying to compare things. And we can't be slaves to our mind, or else we will always feel disconnected from reality. And we are embedded in it. You are stardust. You are the earth. You are an animal in the phylogenetic tree of evolution at some level. You are one with the oxygen that you're breathing. You're breathing air, and I'm breathing air somewhere else, and we're both exchanging this air thing. So we're a part of perfection. But we've kind of got this mindset that doesn't always see it that way. So we need to kind of take a moment and humble our egos, moon in Leo, shadow, instead of being like, I'm not, it's almost like Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka. It's like, I want it now. It's like, well, you're focused on certain things in an immediate way, in a very upfront way. It's like, just look, you're in you're not Charlie's, you're in Willy Wonka's factory, and you're seeing Oompa fucking Loompas. And there's a river of chocolate, but you're worried about, you're a bad egg. Why? Ultimately, it was vanity in some weird way, but ultimately she didn't feel secure enough with what she has, so she wasn't grateful. And gratitude and security are kind of hand in hand. If you feel like you're going to be provided for, without getting kind of egotistical about it, you probably are more likely to be open to seeing the perfection that is. So let's focus on that, shall we? Let's get some clarification. Hopefully you're all doing well. Katie, what up? Oh, yeah. You're a Pisces. The sun is in Pisces. Mercury's in Pisces. Jupiter's in Pisces. Neptune is conjunct the sun in Pisces. You're going to be awake, Katie. I would actually, I think you're in San Diego. Go to the beach today. Go to the sauna, something like that. Go near water if you can. We got the star card. That's the clarifier. Fairy. This is what you wanted last night. Right, this is the tooth fairy, though. I was going to say a fairy. She's coming in hot. I was actually up late, too, because these dogs I'm watching were barking the fuck all night. Every iguana that passed by, they must have freaked out at. 17, star card. This was on page 170. My birthday's on June 17th. My fiance has a sync with 717. It's her angel number. It's a long story there, but there's a little winged angel tooth fairy guide. So this is the brief, the skinny on what? Basically, we're not seeing the full picture, and what we really need to do is tap into the magic of rebirth and renewal, right? Dreaming big, it says. So that's Neptune conjunct the Sun in Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces. Dream big. Allow inspiration to guide you. Moon in Leo. Your heart needs to guide you. Step out and enjoy the beauty of the world. Share your gifts and shine brightly. Guys, the beauty is all around us. We need to step out of our little secluded, our air-conditioned units, which is fine, or your job cubicle or whatever. You need to get out of the imposed division, mentally, physically, etc., and go out in the world and really appreciate it, because you're here for this moment of aliveness now. And yes, we might be eternal spiritual beings, but you're not going to have the same body. You're not going to have the same mind or culture, operating system. You're not going to have the same memories or awareness ever again. This moment is happening. It's happening. So we need to tap into that magic with the star card, right? Step out and enjoy the beauty of the world. Really suck it in. And then reversely, bring in and absorb the beauty and be inspired, and let that make you feel what? Secure. Root chakra. Be like, wow, I'm here. I'm in this bitch. I'm actually, whenever I'm tripping, I tripped on mushrooms yesterday. I'm like, wow, I'm really in this thing. This is really happening. Share your gifts and shine brightly. So once you're inspired in, turn that inspiration and manifest outwards. Like, you've got to shine. And if you want to know kind of what your skill set is, if you aren't aware for some reason, or what maybe your shadows to be aware of are, holler for readings. I love giving them. People love getting them. But we're supposed to share our gifts and shine brightly, right, with the star card. I totally forgot to read the little... it says, I beam your light, right? So how do we get out of the forest of despair, right? This is Luke Skywalker being like, oh my God, I gotta go. I crashed my ship into Tatooine, or into Endor, or not Endor. Gosh, what is he? Tatooine is Dagobah. You can tell I'm kind of a geek. So he crashes his plane at Dagobah. He's like, I'm not a Jedi. I'm not enough. I'm not secure in my identity. I feel like I'm lacking. I might even be dealing with shadows of my father's karma, and how me and him are, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Am I good enough? It's like, actually, the force is all around you, and you get to tap into a polarity of that, and then you get to shine your force strongly. If you're going to be a Sith Lord, be a fucking Sith Lord. If you're going to be a Jedi, be a Jedi. But don't pretend there's no force. Don't pretend it's not all one big happening. So wake up, shine bright, be inspired, in spite of, oh my gosh, is the economy going to collapse? Oh my gosh, am I going to have today's food? Oh my gosh, I'm X years old and I've never found love. Oh my gosh, my kids don't talk to me. It's all happening for a reason, and it's actually here to light your way. It's like the tooth fairy, but I'm thinking the fairy godmother in Pinocchio, right? It's this feminine divine. Jordan Peterson goes on a really long, multi-hour rant about Pinocchio and the Jungian symbology therein. Fascinating stuff. Check it out. I'll post it in the comments, possibly, if I remember. Gemini Life. I don't always remember. But basically, we have this ability to be guided by our hearts and the inspiration of the beyond. The star, the blue star, turns into this fairy godmother who's like, oh, Pinocchio, I give you life, consciousness, bling, right? And then this father archetype, Geppetto, is trying to do his thing. But Pinocchio's like, I'm not real. I'm not enough. He was always in the story he needed to be in. He was always enough. And that is what we're here to be a part of, a story. And then not to attach too strongly to it. Eventually to become aware that we're in a story, which is part of the battle, because sometimes we're just so ignorant that we're like, oh my God, what's the meaning of it all? It's like, there's many meanings. It's a Where's Waldo puzzle out here. It's a wild, bumpy ride. But at the same time, once you realize you have a story, start trying to rectify it a little, and be grateful and embedded in a greater story than your own. Because the person on the fucking, the junkie on the street begging for money has a story. Donald Trump has a story. Vladimir Putin has a story, right? And then we get bigger and broader, and they're all kind of interacting stories. I'm rambling, but hey, you know how I do. So let's go ahead and get a clarification card. Or not a clarification card, an animal oracle card. We've got the goat. Number 19, reliability. Going along with the pentacles, Pluto and Capricorn, you're going to have a reliable perspective. The root chakra, right? What's going to give you security and reliability? But this goat needs to know, multiple things. He needs to know that he can always climb higher. He's not stuck on a ledge, right? Five of Pentacles. Oh my God, I'm stuck on a ledge and I can never get off this ledge. It's like, actually, bro, you're an ace climber. You've evolved for this. Fly big. Go big. So number 19 is as follows. The goat. On page 77. A whole lot of sevens coming up today. Reliability. Is your word reliable and can you be counted upon? Make your way successfully step by step, rooted chakra, right? Steady as she goes. Nourish yourself. We should climb mountains, not carry mountains. And that's one of the things of this. It's like, are you carrying expectations that are just holding you down? Climb bigger. Dream bigger. A wish is a dream your heart makes, right? The star card. You can broaden your scope of understanding from the heart, Moon and Leo. Towards what? Real success and stability, reliability, quality in the world, North Node and Taurus. Mythos. We learn about oh God, I can't speak Norwegian. We learn about Tangrisnir and Tagnoster, the goats who pulled the god Thor's chariot in the stories of the poetic Edda compiled in the 13th century from earlier traditional sources in the prose Edda written by Snorri Sturluson in the 13th century. Following is but one story of the goats and the thunder god. Thor and Loki were... so here's a story, right? Thor and Loki were once traveling together for the purpose of troll hunting. They were traveling upon the chariot pulled by Thor's two ferocious goats, Tengrsnir and Tognoster. The day drew to a close, and the two gods sought shelter at a farmhouse, right? Root chakra. They wanted stability and, security. The peasant family who lived there was shocked to see the two gods, Neptune conjunct Sun. It's like, holy shit, the divine is among us. He was shocked to see the two gods, but obviously welcome to their humble abode, right? And we're talking about poverty and lack of poverty, so it's like these are kind of poor farmers. They're like, oh my gosh, Thor and Loki are here. Thor's goats were magical, Jupiter and Pisces, and were able to be killed for food by Thor's hammer Mjolnir, and then at dawn the next day we would return to living by the blessing of the same hammer. So Thor always had a reliable source of food with him, North Node in Taurus. It's like, I will always have my provision. I will never be hungry. The magic lets me have more. But I've got to use that magic. I can't neglect it, and I can't, if he doesn't use the tool of magic, Mjolnir, it ain't going to happen. He told the peasants they could share the meal of the magical goats, but they were not to split the bones in any way. Saturn and Aquarius is like, look, we're going to do this as a team, but if you fucking transgress Pluto or Capricorn, I'm going to come down on you. So don't fuck with the bones, as the bones would be needed to be unharmed so the goats could successfully regenerate at first light. Saturn and Aquarius, and Venus conjunct Mars and Aquarius. It's like, we'll do something for the team, for the royal we, for the cause, but there's specific algorithms and schematics to this, and if you fuck with the magic, it won't work. So don't fuck with it. The humans agreed to this and enjoyed the meal provided by Thor, North Node and Taurus. Leo Moon is like, oh, I got a full belly now. But Thialfi, the son of the farmer, could not resist secretly cracking one of the leg bones open to suck out some of the delicious marrow, some of the best eating of the goat that could be had. So he fell into temptation, right? Not enough, lack. He's like, you know what? That goat meat was great, but I want more. It's not enough. I want something else. And there's consequences to being smog-like. Dawn came, and Thor laid all the bones upon the skin so they could reassemble magically into the living goats. However, Thor noticed one of the goats had a lame leg. Thor became very angry, knowing that someone had cracked one of the leg bones when they had given their word to the contrary. Frightened by the god's anger, Thialfi admitted his guilt. He's like, oh my god, I did it, and offered himself and his sister, which is kind of lame, because it's like, 2 for 1, BOGO, buy one, get one free. Offered himself and his sister to the god as his servants. Thor quieted his anger and agreed, and this is how one of Thor's goats became lame, but still remained powerful and steady. And I guess we need to contextualize that a little, because people, Vikings, who are telling this story, probably would be like, kill anybody who transgresses, so just being a slave was like getting off free, I guess you could say. Times have changed, let's adapt with them. So he got less angry, his passions, his moon in Leo was quieted, and he kind of got practical again, and was like, sure, let's just do our thing. So the animal. While we cannot be sure what kind of goats pulled Thor's chariot, many of the symbols and descriptions are reminiscent of either an endemic mountain goat or a hardy domesticated mountain goat. The mountain goats in the traditional Norse lands are magnificent creatures, well-furred, sure-footed, and mightily horned. Goats have been providers of skins, milk, cheese, meat, drinking horns, and building materials, which is like a Walmart on legs, and they were one of the first animals to be domesticated by man. As such, they were and are well loved by humans as domestic animals, and now there are over 200 species of goat. It's funny because the movie The Witch, it's a fascinating kind of black and white period piece by Studio 24, A24 Studios or whatever they are. Really good films in general. A goat plays a part in that, and it's just making me think of that. So very Neptune conjunct Sun in Pisces. The magic, which is why we're all here. Goat magic, specifically magic of Thor's mountain goats, is one of reliability and sure-footedness. Right? It's rooted. Muladhara chakra, root chakra. It almost looks like a goat paw print or something. It actually looks very much like the paw print from the large animal from Princess Mononoke. Anyway, goats are remarkably athletic and agile on mountainsides in difficult terrain. They are robust creatures able to withstand the cold or rough environments and are available to all people, right? It's democratic. You're not cut off from this magic just because you don't have a certain pay grade or just because you're not initiated or whatever. We could tap into the magic. Rich or poor. Call upon goat energy when you need stability and balance in a precarious situation or when you need nourishment after a period of scarcity. Symbology is horns, bones, sure-footedness, thunder, a chariot pulled by goats, and the status is of least concern because there's a whole lot of goats. So we're being told that, we're always actually stable and reliable. We're always, doing okay. But we need to realize that and clear our fears, basically around our root chakra, in order to change our perspective in the world of having not enough. Not enough friends, not enough love, not enough money, whatever it is. We need to shine bright like the diamonds we are. I've been having Kanye West's and Jay-Z's version of Diamonds Are Forever stuck in my head all morning. So shine bright like a diamond, right? Diamonds are forever. They're reliable. They're hard, right? They're secure. And there's actually no real value like we think in them. De Beers has made people think there's scarcity. And in fact, diamonds are pretty easy to make in the laboratory as well as not as scarce. There's just the kind of supply controlled demand at it. I digress. So let's go ahead and get an I Ching hexagram for the day. What wants to pop? What wants to pop? We got 46. I've gotten this 3 times in 2 weeks. Ascension. Right? This is a root springing, comes from the root and it creates the Garden of Eden. So 46. Let's read it yet again. I'm not against it. It's actually great. Ascension. This sign heralds a phase of exceptional success and recognition. You might even be presented with a chance to establish contact with a highly influential person, right? So keep your wits about you because you might meet someone magical. Use it with self-awareness, but avoid appearing smug, as this will only spoil things. It is especially important that you work ahead steadfastly, or reliably, rooted chakra, right? Work ahead and maintain your independence. Very Venus conjunct Mars in Aquarius. Be independent. North Node of Taurus. Do it yourself. It could do no harm to build up greater solidarity with other people. Venus conjunct Aquarius. Venus conjunct Mars in Aquarius. Like, do it. Be strong and independent. Like, I am Captain. I was gonna say Captain Planet, but it's like I am Iron Man, but I'm in the Marvel crew. Your feeling for things that matter between people will show you the way to better teamwork. The password to your inner development now is self-discipline. By being self-disciplined, your feet stay firmly planted on the ground and lasting success emerges. Staying firmly planted on the ground. Like what? A goat's feet. What up, Lori? A goat's feet are what? Rooted. Root chakra. So we have this ability to really move forward in our ascension if we're going to be sure-footed, if we're paying attention to the little miracles around us and not getting caught up in the lack. If we're always just kind of going, oh, it's not good enough. Oh, it's not what I expected. Oh, no. It's like you're going to miss out on the perfection that is. You're going to just sit here and cry. Cry, baby, cry. Right? That's a Beatles song. I forget the rest of it. It's a little song. But you're going to sit here and just be woe is me. And we need to tap into our higher self, ultimately for ascension, And when we're doing that, we become more reliable characters in the dream for others. And then everything gets a little more solidified and grounded, considering how wobbly and tipsy-turvy this dream really feels sometimes. When I say this dream, I'm in a Jungian psychedelic sense. We are walking on a dream. It is really humid today, so all my cards are kind of sticking. Let's get a stone. We got sapphire. Very Neptune conjunct Sun, Jupiter, Pisces. Very kind of magical and watery looking. Sapphire, and you can quantumly entangle with this. You don't have to actually own sapphires. If you do, you're probably not poor. But here we go. Sapphire. What it is, often blue, but sometimes pink or yellow. Sapphire, like ruby, is a variety of the mineral corundum. With its peacemaking force field of sparkle energy, right, very Piscean, sapphire protects the vulnerable and squishy stuff inside from judgmental people and their unsolicited bullshit. Who needs it? Students of ancient wisdom. Where to put it? On your right middle finger, the finger of Saturn, Sapphire's associated planet. When to use it? When resentments are doing more damage to you than those you're holding them against, right? When you're sitting here and go, I'm not enough. They're not good enough for me. Oh my gosh, they're disappointing me. This isn't what I expected. It's like those resentments are cutting you off from the perfection of everything that's always happening in the present moment. That's what separates us from the Garden of Eden, right? The knowledge of good and evil, or lack and abundance. It's all good. So when these resentments, these fences of perception are causing us more damage to you than those you're holding them against, enlist Sapphire to call forth that old soul that resides within, i.e. the wisest part of you who couldn't possibly care less about what anybody else thinks of you. Very Jupiter and Pisces. Find your tranquil place. So how do we find heaven on earth? How do we find the magic within and without? The star card is the clarifier. How do we ascend? With sure-footedness and quality of character. Ultimately knowing that we're exactly where we need to be at all times, right? Root chakra, clear out your fears. If a nuke drops on your head, that's what you signed up for. If you win the lottery, that's what you signed up for, right? So find your tranquil place and find your security ultimately by knowing you're always in your happy place. And then it's about kind of zooming in and finding it's like, oh, it's almost like in a Hook, where it's like, I can't fly. I can't be Peter Pan. I'm Peter Panning. I'm a lawyer. I've cut myself off from the magic. And it's like, think of a happy thought. Think of something that's beautiful. And then you'll fly. The magic will kick in. You'll ascend. You'll be able to do it. You can be a reliable parent again. You'll come from your heart, Moon and Leo. You'll be loving, and you'll be a solid member of this dream. North Node in Taurus, Sun, Neptune conjunct Pisces. So find your tranquil place by getting to the root of things. Your fears, your deepest kind of fears, are going to be lack, not belonging, not having enough. This isn't what I expected. I wanted something else. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not in love. The love isn't what I expected. The relationship isn't what I expected. The politics aren't what I expected. All this, right? When we just kind of take a deep breath and sit in stillness and notice all the beauty around us, and this sounds cliche, but it's real, just kind of like be still and know, that's when we transcend into the magic. 17 star card is the clarifier. That's when we ascend as magical beings, going from ape to angel here in this plane. That's when we can be more sure-footed and reliable in our character and in our role in the dream with others. And that's when we find our peace, the tranquil place, sapphire. But it all starts at the very base, the root. If you try to build a building on a faulty foundation, the wise man builds his house upon a rock, a firm foundation. The fool builds it upon sands. The sands shift. The sand doesn't hold place, right? So if you get on your root and get your root super secure by doing chakra chants, it's highly magical time. Do it, but do it anyway. It's a good practice. You're going to start realizing where your hangups are and where your blockages are, so you can release them to be one with all that is anyway. The magic will fill your eyes and you'll ascend. And essentially it's just a shift of perspective. The only movement you need is on your shoulders, as John Lennon would say. So be reliable, be honest, be integrous, right? Be sure-footed, be rooted. And when you come from that, even a sequoia has to have roots. So it's like, if you get your roots down in place, you can climb high and really touch the stratosphere and dream big like a beautiful tree. All right, so that's the reading for the day. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. If you have, like it, share it, whatever's clever. I give readings. You can check it out on my brother Jim. You can hit me up on anything. On YouTube, I put my email. You could reach out here on my Facebook. But I have a professional astrologer website thing. 5 stars only. $33 for an hour of cards like this for you personally, and $88 for 3 hours of astrology. You'll kind of know what the fuck's going on and never really have to. You'll be a mini astrologer yourself after that. You don't really need a reading after that ever again, unless you so choose to do that. Together, it's $111. Leave a tip if you like what's going on. It's going to help feed me. I am not lacking it at all. So if you don't leave a tip, I'll be fine. I'm not rich, but it's like, I'm not like, what little you can give is cool because it helps the cause, basically. It helps keep me fed and alive and moving around. But it's all good no matter what. So hopefully you've enjoyed this exchange of energy. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. We're starting up again this week. We've got a whole docket of people on. Magical people, cultivators of the earth, cultivators of magic, awesome perspectives. That's why we get them on and talk to them. So, what up, Rachel? So, hit me up for readings if you want. They're quality, 5 stars only. People like them. I love giving them. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast because it's dope and you'll appreciate it, and I do. It's like, I don't know, like even a more loose, fun version of Joe Rogan podcast or something, because we could say whatever we want and we don't care. We talk about weird stuff. And then ultimately, guys, enjoy your moon day, tap into your heart, get rooted and appreciate all that's around you, knowing that you're exactly where you need to be at all times, and it's just your mind telling you otherwise. It's good to have ambitions. It's good to even compare and contrast. We've fallen into consciousness with the knowledge of good and evil, if you want to put it that way. We can't not do that, but we have to rise above that fall a little and see the yin-yang totally, and not just be like, oh my gosh, one side or the other. It's both and. It's not either or. So both America and Russia have issues and good qualities, but both Democrats and Republicans, the rich and the poor. It's all spectrum of polarity, but it's one happening. So never forget you're in a dream, and dream well, my friends. Until next time, adios, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.